Now, bringing you the very best in New Hampshire-based local music on IPMNation.com and 100.1 The Planet, this is Local Outbreak.
Time stands still. I can feel my every breath, drink my fill, pulling air into my chest. All I know is an instant and it's gone, ebb and flow. Let the current take me on. Timeless, timeless time. We got less time than we think. Timeless, timeless. Till the moment's out of reach. Seconds flow, filling up my hourglass. Sand zeroed, let me overtake me back. Rewind my days to that life of endless song. Sample game. To that summer felt so long, so long. Never enough walking to run, dancing across the surface of the sun goes around, chasing it down. Isn't it funny how it slips so oh, hey. Timeless, timeless time. We got less time than we think. Timeless, timeless. Till the moment's out of reach.
Oh my God, that is great. That's brand new, huh?
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's brand new.
Wow, that is fantastic. If you're just joining us, Willy Chase is here with us. How new is that? You said you just wrote that with a friend who didn't know you were going to play it today. Is that true?
That's pretty accurate. Yeah, we just had our last co-writing session maybe a week ago, and I'd written the song thread probably 5 or 6 months ago. It sat for a while in my voice notes on iPhone, as a lot of them do, and then I threw it over to my friend Ian Gallipo, who's from the Keene area, and he liked it. Kind of wrote a chorus to it, maybe some verse parts, I think, and then we just put our heads together over a video chat and kind of hammered it out. I had written that bridge, and yeah, it kind of came together, and then I was kind of like, holy cow, we have a song, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is a really cool moment as a songwriter.
I feel like Ian Gallipo is a name that's come up on the show. I don't think he's ever been on. I always say I don't think he's ever been on because it does become, I've been doing this a long time, it does become a little bit of a blur.
Of course.
But I don't think he's been on the show, but I feel like his name comes up a lot on the show.
Yeah, he's awesome. So I work a lot with the New Hampshire Music Collective.
That might be how I've heard his name. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So he's you know, a member of the collective as well, does all sorts of stuff with that and other things. But that's how I met him, and he's great, man. If you've never heard his song "Little Things," check it out. It's a gut wrencher. Be ready to cry.
Yeah.
But he's just an incredible lyricist. He's an incredible musician, and a down to earth guy. You know, he's really enjoyable to be around. So I had a really good experience writing with him. You know, in the level that I'm at right now, there's no skin in the game, really. You know what I mean? I'm kind of just starting out on the songwriting journey over the last few years. And,
Really?
Yeah. And I've been a musician my whole life. I can fill you in on the backstory if you want. But with Ian, it's just great because it's just pure creativity. You know what I mean? Like two musicians hanging out, writing a song. There's no pressure to do anything. And for whatever reason, I was just kind of had that feeling when we were doing that together. And that's what it's all about for me.
Yeah.
Those kind of experiences and writing music and being just purely creative.
No doubt. So you've been a musician for a long time, as you said, but you only started writing songs a few years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I quote unquote have written other stuff.
Yeah.
I was a horn player in high school. I was our class instrumentalist. I was in like every music group. I did all of it. Show choir. I did a lot of theater. I started in High School Musical when I was in high school.
Oh, no
I did
kidding.
all sorts of of stuff to lead me on my musical journey, and then I kind of went a totally different direction for the last decade. I got a degree in resort management and have worked at ski resorts and done all manner of other things, but I never put down the guitar. That's kind of what kept it alive for me. And then like 3 years ago, I had a really good friend who was living around here, and she convinced me to go to an open mic up at Patrick's Pub in Guilford, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
That's where I met John MacArthur, who's one of the owners of the New Hampshire Music Collective.
Yeah, we had him on the show. He's great.
Yeah, he's awesome. Can't say enough good things about him. And, you know, especially in this context with the opportunities he's given me playing a lot of these bar gigs and stuff around here, which is just, it's like with anything, right? If you want to be really good, you got to just put in time and hard work. And
Right.
that's kind of the grind that I've been on these last few years since doing that. And then, you know, like I said, I've been a musician my whole life, and I lean really heavily on my ear.
Yeah.
And I can be judgmental in that way. So I think as most musicians will probably tell you, there's a lot of stuff that goes on with songwriting in terms of being hypercritical of yourself and self-confidence, releasing tracks and everything. So, you know, it's a slow process, but I'm in early production of making a record, hopefully. And, you know, that might be one of the songs that's going to be on it.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it deserves it. That's
Cool.
really good. Yeah.
That's very kind of you to say. It's something I'm really interested in, but like I said, it's just tough not to be overly critical. But at this point in my life, you know, I'm in my early 30s. I feel like it's a really good place to be doing what I'm doing with music. I think that if I had gone right into music school, like I kind of wanted to after high school, after doing all that stuff, I don't think it would have gone well. I think I was on the edge of burnt out.
Really?
Because, yeah, I mean, we had jazz band practices every morning before school at 6:40. I was taking trumpet lessons. Was just completely saturated in music.
Yeah.
And not really knowing, you know, at that point in my life, you know, late teens, early 20s, you're just figuring out who you are.
Right.
So all the experiences I've had over the last 10 years of not being involved in music, I think have just fueled this crazy fire that I have now to write and collaborate with people. And just really, like, I just started taking guitar lessons a couple, you know, maybe a month or two ago with a really great guy. So I'm actually putting some of the old theory knowledge that I have to use with like the 15 years of guitar playing, just playing songs that I like to hear and play.
Yeah.
So it just feels really, really awesome. And I'm really grateful to be here, doing what I'm doing now, you know.
During the span of time where you had kind of gotten away from it all, did you always kind of know that you would come back to it? Or did you really at the time kind of feel like, you know, that was, you know, I'm sort of done with that. I'm sort of burnt out on it.
If you asked me that question years ago, I probably would have told you the latter. I probably would have told you, nah, you know. And I think that comes from being jaded. And my, through no fault of his own, my trumpet teacher was one of the ones who convinced me not to go to school for like performance.
Really?
Yeah, which how much of that was actually him and how much of it was in my head, I can't really tell you.
Right.
But, you know, and his point was very valid. You know, 40 years ago, there was just so many horn players working in places like New York, Boston. You know, all these clubs and theaters had live orchestras, and now it's just a percentage of what that was. So
yeah,
the statistics just make it pretty daunting.
Yeah.
But I think subconsciously buried deep down there, to answer your question, I think it was inevitable of coming back to music. I mean, it's just such a part of me. It's part of who I am, been part of who I am since a very young age. And like I said, I rely heavily on my ear. I don't like to say I have a good ear because it's like, what does that mean? But the way I hear music and interpret music is so ingrained with everything else about me, and it affects my, emotions. It affects my goals. So I think it was inevitable.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I'm dying to hear another one if you want to play another live song for us.
Yeah.
If you're just joining us, Willy Chase is here with us live in studio and playing some stuff. And that guitar sounds, I love the way that guitar sounds.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's since you can't see it, it's a Rain Song fully composite guitar. It's fully made of carbon fiber. And
really?
Yeah, the whole thing, the neck, the bridge, the body, everything, the whole thing's carbon fiber. And the reason I got it was I've got an old Taylor that I really, really love, which, it's not a special instrument by most people's standards, but it is to me. And playing all these gigs, like playing outside a lot, playing around campfires with all my friends, was just getting trashed.
Yeah.
So, I saved up some tip money and got this thing, and it just holds tune really consistently. I don't have to worry as much about it. But it turns out that despite all of that, it's a really fun guitar to play, and it sounds great plugged in. It's a little tinny acoustically if you're going to mic it up, because it's not very, it's pretty cold, but
right.
Yeah, so this next song, I go a bunch of different directions, so forgive me, but this is what I like to call a cheap country song. But this song, it has some country roots, but it's deeper than that. It's about kind of being in a bad place, and this vision I had of if I didn't kind of get my act together and have a few less beers and stop feeling sorry for myself, it was kind of a place where I was going to end up. So it's a little bit about that. But this song is called, I don't know what this song is called.
Oh.
I guess it's called Pushing My Luck, something like that.
Okay.
So it's a country song in G. How about that?
All right, there we go. Willy Chase, live.
Mama's in the kitchen, baby's in the yard, dog's on the bed, and I ain't got too far. I keep on living, they keep on growing. I buried my money out in the backyard. Down on my luck, strutting my stuff. It's wearing me down, but I swear I'm tough. I ain't gonna lie, it's getting hard. Baby, I make it too far. 'Cause time keeps moving like a north wind blowing. That's one thing knows right where it's going. I tried moving on, but I just couldn't stay strong. So I crack another bottle, try to make a quick buck. But man, I know that I'm pushing my luck. Yeah, I'm pushing my luck. Out with the boys, third night of running, 30 missed calls, she don't think it's funny. She's pissed off, I'm pissed drunk, rambling about all the things I can't handle. So I'll just talk to Mr. Daniels. 'Cause time keeps moving and the whiskey keeps flowing. Drunk me knows right where I'm going. I tried moving on, but I just couldn't stay strong. So I crack another bottle, try to make a quick buck. But man, I know that I'm pushing my luck. Yeah, I'm pushing my luck. Yeah, I'm pushing my luck. Mama's in the kitchen, baby's in the yard, the dog's on the bed, and I'm trying too hard. I keep on drinking, they keep on leaving, buried my soul out in the backyard. 'Cause time keeps moving like a north wind blowing. That's one thing knows right where it's going. I tried moving on, but I just couldn't stay strong. So I crack another bottle, try to make a quick buck. And man, I know that I'm pushing my luck. Yeah, I'm pushing my luck. Yeah, I'm pushing my luck.
That is really good.
Hey, thanks,
That is
man.
really good. Willie Chase is here with us, live in studio. And yeah, that's fantastic. I love your voice.
Appreciate it.
Is there anyone who influences you vocally? Is there anyone you try to kind of sound like? Or
It's probably an amalgamation of like 25 people.
Yeah.
There'd be some easy ones to name, but honestly, recently I've just been trying to sound like me. I think in the past I've tried to sound country, singing country, because of like the way I listen to music. If I love a song, I'll just try to play it and sound just like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which gives me great satisfaction to be able to be like, yeah, I can play that song.
Right.
One thing I'm kind of figuring out or thinking more about now that I'm writing my own stuff is just, how do I sound like me? How do I convey, even if it's that feeling, but be unique. So, but yeah, vocally, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would say this is an influence, but Chris Stapleton, I think, has an amazing voice. He's great. I'm a little below that. So, I would say another vocal influence, even though I don't think he's a great vocalist. I don't like being negative, but David Gilmour.
Yeah.
I think the way that he sang was just really soulful and honest.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. He's not a great, like from a technical standpoint,
right.
There's nothing great about him at all, but you're right though, for what he's doing, for what Pink Floyd is supposed to sound like. Yeah.
And I was fortunate when I was younger. I had some good coaches. I had one of our theater directors was a Boston Pops pianist, this great woman, Jill Riggles, God rest her soul. And she, that was a lot of like theater-based stuff. So I think from early on, I had a good foundation of like breathing and, despite the fact that I'm sitting back in my chair, like sit on the front of your chair, like put vocal support, sing out. And then also YouTube. There's great like vocal instructors on YouTube that can give you tips on warming up and all this stuff. So, I don't know if that answered your question, but
oh, definitely. I don't know if you noticed, I kind of reacted when you said Chris Stapleton, because if I were to choose all the singer-songwriters we've had on the show over the years, if I were to choose the number one name that comes up in conversation as far as influence, it's Chris Stapleton.
Yeah.
Everybody.
He's a monster.
Yeah.
I mean, just, in the years he spent writing before he was, pop famous, I especially like his stuff he did with the Steel Drivers.
I've never heard any of that. Steel Drivers.
Yeah, they're a bluegrass group, and he was their frontman and guitarist.
I didn't even know that. Huh.
Yeah, check it out, man. They've got a bunch of great tunes. Blue Side of the Mountain, Angel of the Night. That's one song I do. You don't mind if I play a few minutes?
No, go ahead. I'd love it.
This is the Steel Drivers, Angel of the Night.
Well, the music is playing at the Whiskey Saloon. It comes through my window like my favorite tune. I could walk down the stairway, I could walk down the street, lay down my money, but it's not what I need. Let me fly on your wings, rise above these earthly things, make it all be alright, angel of the night.
Yeah, so that's Chris Stapleton and the Steel Drivers.
I've heard that song.
Yeah.
I had no idea who it was, but I recognize that song.
Yeah, great tune, man.
Well, yeah, no, that's really good. That's really good. Do you do a lot of when you play live? Do you do a lot of covers or?
Yeah, mostly covers.
Yeah,
I've got almost an hour of original music that I can do.
Oh,
I stretch
good.
it and do a little storytelling.
Yeah.
But yeah, mostly covers. I mean, for the gigs that I'm doing right now, the main point is entertaining everybody at the bar and stuff. And oftentimes people respond well to my music, which is great and validating. But people want to hear what they want to hear when they're out having a beer, which I totally understand. And I think I kind of love that. I look at those gigs as a challenge. Mm-hmm. How do you get people's interest? How do you get feet tapping? How do you get people turning around and going, whoa, who's this guy? Or whatever. And that's the challenge to me. And I mean, that's how you make tips. Any performer will tell you, but financially it's a good strategy, but but that's from the beginning, that's always been the fun part. Is like, how do you get people to notice you? Because that means they're enjoying it, right? They're having a cool experience. They're listening to the music.
Yeah, no doubt. How did you get involved with John MacArthur and the collective? Because that's again such a great organization, and we had John on the show, and we've had a lot of musicians on the show who work with them, and John, by the way, is he's very, very busy. Like when he told us, we were talking about the events, how many events they do, and he told us the number that he personally is at running. It's like, dude, you don't sleep.
It's staggering,
which I admire. But how did you get involved?
Yeah, so I met John. He now hosts, but he goes to open mics around and kind of looks for talent a little bit, I think. But I met him at Patrick's Pub in Guilford. We kind of hit it off and exchanged information. And at that point, I didn't have 3 hours of consistent songs that I could play that were all polished and done. So it took me a little while, but I played a bunch of open mics and got my act together. And John and I kind of became friends. He would give me a call. We live pretty close to each other up there in the Lakes region, so he'd give me a call. We'd go out and see somebody. I'm not afraid to share my opinion about other people, I guess, in a friendship situation.
Yeah,
but I've been around a lot of music in my life and been around really good musicians, and regardless of whatever I play, I think I have a pretty good idea of who's doing what or who's been practicing. That's really all it comes down to.
Right.
But
Understood.
So we would go out for fun, and he would kind of ask my opinion about people, and I'm not trying to say that I'm judge and jury, or anything, but we just kind of enjoyed it. We enjoyed each other's presence and hanging out and talking about music, and John's just such a great guy. He's in an industry that, and I haven't experienced this really, but in an industry that's reportedly very cutthroat, people will say about music and arts and getting gigs and stuff. John is just somebody who genuinely cares about everybody he works with. He genuinely wants everybody to succeed, and he'll give you an opportunity if you're working hard.
Yeah.
No matter who you are, or what you look like, what you're doing, what kind of music you're playing, he's just able to recognize people who are there for the right reasons and are working hard. So I really respect that about John, and his partner Brad, who is the other half of the New Hampshire Music Collective, who's an unbelievable guitarist. I'll have to recommend you him for the show too. But just John, John's awesome. So from there, he was gracious enough to give me some gigs, and and I can crush the bar gig pretty well. I know a lot of 90s tunes. And I just listen to so many different types of music that I have this kind of weird catalog, but it works great for that situation, right? Because you never know who's going to be in there.
Yeah.
You think a lot of country, but then you play something. Yeah. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. But,
yeah.
So I've done pretty well with the bar gigs, and we have a great thing going. I love working with those guys. It helps me. It's a great side hustle. I do still have a day job, unfortunately, but yeah, no, it's awesome all around.
It's so important to find people who are positive and honest, and there are a lot of sharks. So to be able to connect with somebody like John and the NH Music Collective, it's so important. When we had Rebecca Turmel on the show,
yeah, she's awesome too,
and we were talking about that too, because it's I do feel like there. There's some people you want to avoid, but I think generally, the music scene, at least around here, is people are pretty supportive of each other and want to work together and uplift each other. I always contrast it with, I've listened to some podcasts over the years of stand-up comics, and that my impression of that world of stand-up comedy, it's all part of live entertainment, but stand-up comedy, as far as I can tell, is very cutthroat. Like everyone secretly hates each other. Right. Everyone secretly wants to see each other fail. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's just the impression that I get, the vibe that I get from it. Whereas I think, there's always people you want to be careful of, but I think generally people are pretty supportive in the music scene. And
cool.
And why not be? It doesn't.
Right.
None of it's a zero-sum game. Life is not a zero-sum game. Just because somebody else is being successful, that doesn't take something away from you. If anything, it should inspire you to maybe be able to do what they're doing, So
absolutely. That's a great perspective. And that's been my experience in the music scene around here. I'm sure you've seen way more than I've been exposed to, but yeah, so it's great. I think we got a great thing going on up here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool. It's fun.
You want to play another one?
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
If you're just joining us, we have Willy Chase with us live in studio. Oh, let me get that.
And make sure this thing's in tune too.
Yeah.
It's cold outside.
It is, yeah. I think it's the coldest morning we've had this season so far.
I believe it.
Yeah.
There's plenty of ice on my truck.
Yeah.
After 60 and raining, 3 days ago?
I know, right?
So this song, I've been playing this song out a little bit. This is another song I wrote after coming out of a hard place. This is kind of about just being who you are and getting back to yourself and away from other toxic people. But yeah, this is called Back to Me.
Fell into the ghost of you, my heart on my sleeve. I fell apart in front of you, I died in your dreams. And I'm never, ever gonna come back to you. Oh no, no. Baby, please forgive me, but I'm coming back to me. I'm coming back to me. Watching through the window pane, trying to sleep. Wondering if the rain could wash you from my sheets. And I'm never, ever gonna come back to you. Oh no, no. Baby, please forgive me, but I'm coming back to me. Back to me. I'm coming back to me.
Very nice. Very
Thanks,
nice.
man.
Willie Chase is here with us live in studio, sounding great. And yeah, I think that's a universal theme. You know, I think we've all had that moment.
Definitely, definitely. And if you haven't, well, you know, it's coming. But,
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, man, that was that came from a dark place, for sure. But there's always light at the end of the tunnel, I guess. Right?
Yeah. Well, it could be an oncoming train. You never know.
Sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is. No, I really like that a lot.
Thanks, man.
Are you playing out a lot? Are you doing a lot of shows? It sounds like you are.
I am, yeah. I'm probably coming up on 60 or 70 booked for next year already.
Wow.
And yeah, pretty much every weekend.
Good.
Been a little bit of a light stretch right now. I really, just this past August, I really kind of had a revelatory moment where I decided I was just going to say no to nothing and say yes to everything and just kind of give everything I had, you know?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I'm planning on it. So
Good.
through a set of experiences that I don't have to go into, you know, that song came out of and the dedication. And so, yeah, I've been playing pretty much every weekend. We've had a couple really cool shows recently. We we had a singer-songwriter competition up there in Guilford, and then John MacArthur put together a show at the B&H stage in Concord where all the finalists from that competition came and played. And
cool.
I played with them. We did a couple numbers together, and it was really fun. I mean, just what a group of talented people.
Yeah. Excellent. Do you always play? Is it always just you, or does anyone ever join you? Or?
Yeah, I've got a couple different settings. I mean, most of the stuff I book is solo, but there's a shop in Laconia called NH Vintage Vinyl. This guy, Dan McLaughlin, owns it. Dan Mack. He's a friend of mine. He plays bass, so he comes out. We do a really cool duo. We do like a bunch of grunge duo stuff. So to have like, it's still kind of acoustic. But then there's a couple different groups I've played with in more of a band setting, but nothing super firm.
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking to collaborate more with other people and, getting into more of a production role. I'm self-producing a lot of stuff just for, demos and whatnot in preparation of going into the studio. And that's also always been a fun thing for me is, I took a few recording engineering courses in community college before I kind of went to school, and so I've known how to use Pro Tools and known what an interface does, and how, spend a little money on plugins. So I do a little bit of that, and I'm looking to, because just playing with other people is magical. I think that's one thing that's a little bit, I don't want to say it's lost, but not as common these days. 50 years ago, you didn't have any choice. If you wanted to play with somebody else, you had to go and link up with them and say, hey, let's sit down and play some music. And now everything's on the internet, and it's obviously there's so many bonuses from that. But it's been kind of tough, honestly, to get people to want to collaborate. I mean, I don't know if it's a function of just the location I'm in or my lack of outreach. I don't know, but it's something I'm craving. So if you're listening to this and you want to collaborate, you want to play some music, hit me up.
Have you ever played in a full band?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We had with Dan Mack, and then we had another drummer, and his name was Dan Hewitt. We played a couple shows, like my buddy's birthday party and stuff, but we put together like 2 hours. We sounded killer. Yeah. We did this cover of Comfortably Numb. And I don't know. I think we all shocked ourselves. Like I thought it sounded great. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I have another friend, Dan Fallon. I don't know if you've come across him.
Dan's been on the show.
Yep. Dan's another buddy, and I've played a little bit with them. We played the Rec Yard up in at Tower Hill, Weirs Beach. That's a couple times. It was fun.
Yeah.
Did a couple other things. But yeah, I haven't really been like a standard with anybody, but hoping to find people and collaborate. I just kind of take it as it comes. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because that's sometimes you can rush into situations and it's not where you want to be, or and conversely, you could just sit in your apartment and play guitar all day and never talk to anybody, which sometimes I find myself doing. But it's all a balance, right?
Do you, as far as shows, do you get out of New England at all? Have you done that yet, or
not really? Yeah. No. Yeah.
I mean, it's not as though there aren't a million places to play here, because there definitely are.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't really. I spent the last 4 winters out in Park City, Utah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Working at a ski resort out there.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been a snowcat operator for like 12 years.
Oh, no kidding.
Building terrain parks and grooming and stuff. So that's kind of the other side of my life. So I've been out there and did like 1 or 2 open mics and kind of, stuff, but nothing significant outside of New England. No.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready though, I'm gearing up for the big launch, but once I get once I get like a solid record out that I'm happy with, and can release and like capitalize. But I'm cool, kind of cool with where I'm at now, because I feel like I'm just racking up all these hours, and all these gigs, and just like
getting your reps in.
Yeah, I want to blow the doors off when I go somewhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
Anyway, it's all just fun, but
yeah. Excellent. Is the goal to make an album? Because we live in a time when people approach it all kinds of different ways. You can make an album, you could make an EP, you could make a series of singles that eventually becomes an album, is that kind of your goal, is to make a full album?
Creatively, yeah. I think just the way that I've listened to music always, and the way that I think about music, I think like a song is too short for me to convey like a message. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I understand the way the industry is, so I'd probably release some singles. Yeah. Once I can get things recorded properly and whatnot, which is mostly just, financial.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I think like my favorite albums are the ones that you front to back, right? You just put the needle down and go through it, and it tells a story. or it conveys a feeling, or even if it's just totally your interpretation of it, it all fits together. I think that's really beautiful. It's like a book, right?
Yeah.
Do people release a chapter of a book? I mean, maybe, but
that's a perfect analogy. Yeah.
So, but there's obviously other real world limitations like resources and time. And,
of course.
And I understand. Singles are the big thing now. I think you really want to push singles and the way music is released and distributed. But I'm a long way away from that. You know what I mean? I'm
sure.
I'd love to be in a place one day where all that really matters, and a lot of people are listening to the music. But man, I gave up on fantasizing too much a long time ago. You know what I mean? And that's part of what I said earlier about being in the position I'm in now. I do this for myself, and I realized that at some of those first open mics. It's actually just a quick story that I won that songwriter competition 3 years ago, and it took me, there's 8 qualifying weeks, and I played all of them, and I didn't qualify until the very last week. I went to the finals, and then I won the competition. But the process, and it was all new to me. I'd never performed like solo acoustic like that, and I hadn't performed any type of music in 12 years.
No kidding.
So I was like, I'm going to come in here, and everybody's going to love me, songs, and I'm going to be great. I'm going to be famous in 2 weeks.
Right.
Jokingly, of course. But,
yeah.
But that taught me, I realized through those 8 weeks, I was like, man, because it was all about the competition. It was new. It was fresh. This was like everything to me.
Yeah.
And I just realized that if they weren't going to let me through the finals, I didn't care, because it was the only place I could go and play music in front of people at that point in time. It was the only opportunity I had, and I just kept signing up for slots because I was like, I love this feeling. I love being up here. This is really cool.
Well, and isn't that a relief too, to let go of the caring about it part?
Massive.
Yeah.
Massive. What a weight off your shoulders, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because so much of it is based on luck and connections and stuff. Like you can't.
Absolutely.
And there's a great Quincy Jones quote, God rest his soul, that I always think of. It's like, when you start talking about money, God walks out of the room. And
I'd never heard that, but that is a great quote.
Yeah, and it's just it's so true, man. If you're here for all those other things, like it's with anything in life, right?
Right.
Do what you love, work really hard at it, and all the things that you want, all the material things will come. Mm-hmm. Usually in excess, if you're really devoting yourself to something.
Right.
And that just it has a whole set of problems with it. And listen, I live in the real world. I got credit card debt, right? We got to all make money, but man, I just do this because I love it. I never get sick of picking up a guitar and playing music or talking about music. Like being here with you right now is awesome just because we get to spend time talking about music and thinking about it. And so I'm just grateful for where I'm at, and I'm going off on a tangent like I normally do, but yeah.
That's all right. It's kind of what we do here.
Cool. Love it.
Well, do you want to play another one?
Sure. I'll play a fun song that I wrote for that competition.
Cool.
That my friends and folk friends love this song. This song's called Misery and Tequila, and it is in fact about a bottle of tequila.
Excellent.
How we sound?
Willy Chase live in studio.
There's a bottle of 818 staring me in the face. That Blanco's got this honcho tied on like a lace. I ain't got no girl to leave me. If I did, well, she'd be through. Misery and tequila, I love you. Pour another shot on the front porch, I'm rocking. Maybe 3 more will have you knocking on my door. Pour a little more. Misery and tequila, I love you. Well, this lonesome's got me thinking about all day drinking. When it's starting to taste like water, I get the feeling that I should call her. And if and when I do, she'll tell me that we're through. Misery and tequila, I love you. Pour another shot on the front porch, I'm rocking. Maybe 3 more will have you knocking on my door. pour a little more. Misery and tequila. Misery and tequila. Misery tends to kill you, but I love you.
I love it. I
Yep.
love it. Willy Chase here with us, live in studio today, and sounding fantastic. What do you have coming up? Are you playing anywhere this weekend? You got any for our live listeners? Anything to plug?
Not this weekend, but coming up, yeah, I got a bunch of stuff. You can always go to my website, willychasemusic.com. There's a schedule tab on there with all my upcoming shows. But yeah, I'm playing just about every weekend around the Lakes region. I'm going to be at the Waterview Pub this coming Wednesday. I can't remember exactly where that is. That's a new one for me. And then I'm usually at Twin Barns in Meredith all the time, about once a month or so. I've got shows coming up at the 405 in Laconia. I've got shows coming up at Foster's Tavern in Alton Bay. So, kind of that circuit up there. I will be in Manchester at certain points in January and February, playing the Backyard Brewery and the Anheuser-Busch Beer Garden. Mm-hmm. I've done those a couple times. I've got a couple more dates booked there. I'm going to be playing at Defiant Records in Laconia. So, yeah, if you go to my website, willychasemusic.com, WILLY, or Google me, social media, Instagram and Facebook at Willy Chase Music, you can always find I'm posting about the shows and stuff. So,
You have a favorite place to play, or a couple that are just really, really that you just love playing it?
That's tough. They're all fun. But I would have to say, Foster's Tavern is always a super fun time.
Yeah.
It's always full of people, and everybody's usually singing along by the end.
Oh, that's
what
cool.
really gets people singing along these days is playing Creed.
Well, I keep seeing that meme. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I've never had more people sing along to a song than playing Take Me Higher by Creed. It get the whole place rocking.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Some of those, it's so interesting, the arc of some of those artists. Getting, like very popular and then basically getting dragged on social media for 10 years. Mm-hmm. But everybody loves them.
Oh, yeah. That's happened to a lot of those. Limp Bizkit's a great example of that, too. Limp Bizkit is huge.
Yeah.
And they were huge. But even when they were huge the first time, a lot of people looked down on them. And you know what I mean? Yeah. But now it's like everybody's just kind of like, oh, yeah.
Limp Bizkit.
I guess I like Limp Bizkit.
I know now Fred Durst comes out with like a silver goatee and
cowboy
gear.
Yeah, he's really having a good time, and
I love it.
Yeah.
Wes Borland's a great guitarist too, man.
He is,
and artist in general.
Yeah, underrated, I think,
Absolutely.
because he gets overlooked because of the band that he plays in.
Right.
But I agree. Yeah, that's they've been a topic on the show recently because of that big $200 million lawsuit against UMG, talking about sharks in the industry.
No kidding.
But
crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, but yeah, a lot of those bands, like Creed, and who else do you? So you play a lot of that stuff, right? Live in your set?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I don't play a ton of unknown Creed, I guess you would say.
Yeah,
like, I know some of the bangers.
Yeah.
But I play a lot of like Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots. Like that's always been a very, I've always been super fond of that.
Yeah.
Kind of era in music. To be honest, I was never like a huge Nirvana fan.
Yeah.
Which might seem weird, but I'm a huge Alice in Chains fan. Like Lane Staley, I think was one of my favorite vocalists.
Mm-hmm.
That actually kind of goes back to that earlier question. I try to sound like him, but unsuccessfully.
Yeah.
But when in the scream, because he was a bit of a screamer, but not in a high register. Like I can never sing like Chester Bennington or anybody from more metal-y groups. I don't have that in my range. But guys like Lane, were kind of in that lower register, but still managed to get that like rock high, like screaming sound, which I really love. And then of course I'm a big fan of like Audio Slave and Chris Cornell, or Soundgarden, and but Chris Cornell was way up there too. But he was one of my favorite rock writers. I would say, what a legend.
I know. Absolutely. It's funny when you mentioned Lane Staley, I had to stop myself because I started to have this thought. You ever start to have a thought and then you're about to say it and then you realize it's stupid? Like,
All the time, man. All the time.
because I found myself thinking, and I almost said, Lane Staley, such a unique voice. There's nobody who sounds like him. And then, of course, I remembered, no, they found a new singer who sounds exactly like him. But other than that guy,
Well, other than that guy, right.
there's really he did have an unusual voice.
Yeah, and very like dark and drab. But then you'd hear like you'd be listening to Jar of Flies, and it's like, just doomy almost. And then there's like this whole major, like beautiful acoustic song. I'm trying to remember the name of the title of the track, but it's like later on in that Jar of Flies album.
Oh,
Just like super pleasant. You know what I mean? Like very major.
yeah.
And beautiful. So like the complexity is what really hooks me.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys,
Yeah, no doubt. We have time. You want to play one more?
Sure.
I'd love to hear one more. If you're just joining us, Willy Chase is here with us live in studio. And let me turn that back up there.
Yeah. So this last track, well, I'm making sure my guitar is in tune. I'll tell you a little bit about it.
Okay.
I grew up down in Connecticut, which evokes many things. But my mother's family has been there for a very long time. They were dairy farmers for 300 years, and I love it there. We have like a little bit of land left, and I have a big family, and I love everything about it. But there's no farming left. We don't farm anymore. And the last dairy farm in our town just closed a few years ago. So this whole lifestyle of generations and generations of my family, the way that, nobody left, like, it was just always there.
Yeah.
And it's just not a place I ever felt home at, outside of our little bubble, like Connecticut rather, it's just this, what used to be a really agrarian kind of nice place is just surrounded by all this other stuff that isn't really interesting to me, and I was drawn to the mountains and the North Country and everything. So this song is kind of about that feeling of this whole paradigm shift and like feeling like I have 300 years of dairy farming in my blood, but it's like just this weird anyway. I'll stop talking about it and play it.
All right.
This song is called Thicker Than Water.
There used to be a cornfield right here. Greenbackers cut it every year. But now they're putting up the panels, and the picture on the mantle gets a little smaller every year. Wind howls through an old barn window, past the empty stalls and old hay bales. Dust blowing off the old hay hanging, picking up a memory of flies and tails. But mama, I love this town, but I ain't got a lot of reasons left sticking around. Blood runs thicker than water, but Lord, it's making me drown. No, my roots can't hold me down. Hey. On Mimi taught me everything, how to hold a ranch or to act no fool. And I carry them, they're always with me, picking my battles or keeping my cool. I see the way the world is going, but I can't take it anymore. But my family will keep me grounded, that's the only thing I know for sure. But mama, I love this town, but I ain't got a lot of reasons left sticking around. 'Cause this blood runs thicker than water, but Lord, it's making me drown. No, my roots can't hold me down. Oh, my roots can hold me down. and I feel them breaking faster than ever before. But all these new ones ain't bringing me home no more. And my roots can't hold me down. And there's a million things that'll put me in the ground. 'Cause this blood runs thicker than water, but Lord, it's making me drown. No, my roots can't hold me down. No, my roots can't hold me down. No, my roots can't hold me down.
Oh, that is so good. That is so good.
Thanks, man.
Willy Chase with us live in studio today. Willy Chase, this has been wonderful.
Yeah, thanks so much, man. It's been so fun to be here.
Absolutely. Remind everybody again where to find you online.
Absolutely. You can find me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Threads at Willy Chase Music, all one word, or willychasemusic.com, WILLY.
Excellent. You have much luck with Threads? I forget it's there.
Actually, it's been really great, mainly because there's no ads.
Oh,
It's like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And
So-
one of the first posts I put out, I was just talking about like jazz orchestras and got like 10,000 people viewed it and got everybody talking about posting old pictures of jazz clubs in New York. It was like the best social media experience I've had in a long time.
No kidding. So you're getting good engagement from it. That's
Well,
good.
no, it was just that one post. It just happened to go. But
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's been really cool.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Very good. And when is your next show?
I have a show coming up this Wednesday at the Waterview Pub. And go to my website. Everything's listed right under the schedule tab. You can see all my shows coming up. I'll be playing all around the Lakes region and south down to Manchester, Concord in the next few months.
Outstanding.
Come see me.
Outstanding.
May God bless and keep you always. May your wishes all come true. May you always do for others and let others do for you. May you build a ladder to the stars and climb on every rung. May you stay forever young. May you stay forever young. May you grow up to be righteous. May you grow up to be true. May you always know the truth and see the light surrounding you. May you always be courageous, stand upright and be strong. May you stay forever young. May you stay forever young. May your hands always be busy. May your feet always be swift. May you have a strong foundation when the winds of changes shift. May your heart always be joyful. May your song always be sung. And May you stay forever young. May you stay